Hello, thank you for joining me again this week. My name is Deborah Carr, for those of you who haven't been here before, and I write historical fiction in that name. I also write contemporary romances as Georgina Troy, and I also write thrillers as Ella Drummond. I haven't done very much in my Ella Drummond name for a couple of years because I've been too busy really with my historicals and with my rom-coms. But I have recently got the rights back for my two thrillers from Hera Books, which very kind of them, because I actually, they didn't have to let me have them back quite so soon. But I did ask and they very kindly let me have them, so thank you very much. So I have relaunched one of them. This book was previously published as My Last Lie, and it has a brand new cover, which I will link below in my description bit, and it's got a new title as well, The Midnight Swim. If you read it, I hope you enjoy it. So that's exciting. The other book, currently The Darkest Summer, is going to have a new title as well, because that's what generally happens when a book is republished and a brand new cover. But that one, so that book was I originally wrote it, it's set during three timelines, three heat waves, so three different timelines. And I originally wrote it set in the 70s, the 80s and the early 2000s, and I set it in France, but it was actually published, a newer version was published. I was asked to change it by the publisher to have it set in England and Scotland. I've never actually been to Scotland. My great-grandmother was from Scotland, but I've actually never been. And the publishers also wanted me to bring the timelines forward, so they were closer to the present time. And as much as readers liked the book, to me, it actually wasn't the same book that I had actually wanted to bring out. I'm fairly easygoing actually with publishers because I do believe they know better. But in this case, I believe the story was better with its original setting in France, and it originates, there's a poster basically. There's a poster. It starts off with a fire at a neighbour's farm, and our female protagonist rushes to go and help. It's in the middle of the night, and she slowly gets to know him. He's a very mysterious man. He's a scarred man, physically scarred as well as mentally. And he's very much a loner. And there is something in his farmhouse that links the story. And it's what inspired what happened over these three timelines. Now that's very vague actually, isn't it? But I want to rewrite it back to the original setting and the original timeline. So that's not going to be out for a few months yet. But I very much look forward to doing that. I loved writing that book and I look forward to getting back to it. So that will also have a new title and a new cover. And will actually be a new book to one that's actually been out before. So that's exciting. But The Midnight Swim is out already because that didn't need hardly any changes, just a few little ones. So also, that was early this week or late last week. I've also been to London this week. Yay, on a plane. Very exciting, off Ireland. I met up with lots of old friends. I met up with my One More Chapter friends, some new friends as well, actually, newly published authors or authors that actually aren't yet published but will be published this year. So I met them at the HarperCollins Author Party. It's an annual party held at the V&A in South Kensington in London. Very, very exciting. And if you're a HarperCollins author with a book out this year, you have to have a book out in the year of the party, you will be invited. You recognise people from TV and that sort of thing, because if they have a book out with HarperCollins in 2024, they'll have been invited. And as well as authors, there are agents, editors, and yes, it's really, really good fun in an amazing setting. So it was great to catch up with friends that I hadn't seen for 2 years, because those of you who are regulars here will probably remember that my husband died a few months ago and was very ill last summer. So obviously I wasn't going to leave him and go to a party. So I haven't seen a lot of these people for 2 years. So it was lovely to catch up with them, and everybody was incredibly kind. So that's what I did this week. I'm now, when I was at the airport coming back, waiting for my flight to come back, I received edits for my Hollyhock 2 book. So Welcome to Hollyhock Farm, first book in a brand new series, came out a couple of months ago. The second book comes out, second book comes out on the 23rd of November. Now, I wrote the first draft. I was writing it when my husband died, and I couldn't write for a while. And then when I did get back to my writing, I basically made a hash of the book. So I had to do a complete rewrite a couple of months ago. I've now had the edits back, hoping for line edits, but no, I still need to do a lot more work. So I've got a second lot of structural edits. I have 4 pages of notes like this that I have to actually go through. So that's what I'm doing solidly for the next 2 weeks. I work every day. I love my job, but sometimes it's a little bit harder, and these are one of those times. Edits can be really quite brain taxing. They certainly are for me. I've got to get my head around these edits, although they're very well explained by my editor. She's really good. I've had a few days and still haven't quite got my head around all of them and how I'm going to do them and that sort of thing. But I have until the 20th to get this back. So I really need to knuckle down, and I will as soon as I finish chatting to you. One of my books, I've also actually got to do my newsletter. I like to do that by the 1st or 2nd of the month, and it's now the 6th, and I haven't done it. I won't be able to do it today because I'm chatting to you, and because I do have to get on with those edits today as well. And I have to walk my dogs. They won't be impressed if I don't. So I will aim to do that tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm actually meeting one of my readers who is over on the island. I'm meeting her for coffee. We have met before. It'll be lovely to catch up with her again. But apart from that and a few other things, yes, I will be editing till the 20th, possibly. Hopefully I'll finish a little bit before, but if not, whatever. So another exciting thing that happened this week was yesterday. It was actually a double-page spread. I should have actually brought it with me. I'll put a picture below in my description as well if I can fit one in there, or a link to it. I was interviewed by Thomas Ogg from the Jersey Evening Post. That's our local newspaper, and every weekend there's a magazine inside the newspaper called The Weekender, and I had a picture on the cover of The Weekender, which was incredibly exciting. And then I had a double-page spread inside. He had interviewed me and was incredibly generous. Thank you, Thomas. And he had sent across a photographer to do a photo shoot. So I have one picture on the front, one inside, and my lovely book cover was in there too. So that was very, very exciting yesterday, and I've loaded that up. Also, Welcome to Hollyhock Farm is in the Movers and Shakers charts. Thank you very much, Christy Barlow, for letting me know about that. So apart from partying with my friend Glynis Peters and coming back to all the excitement of my interview being in the paper and a book being in the Movers and Shakers, I really need to knuckle down and get on with my work. I think because I think when you do what I do, part of my job is also to help market my books, is to promote my books. I don't market them, I suppose that's the marketing team does that, but I help promote them. So if anything does happen, like an interview, like being in the Movers and Shakers, I've got a deal on one of my books which I actually haven't shared yet, which I must do because it ends on the 18th. That's the Poppy Sisters. I will share that in my newsletter and below if I remember to do it. It's part of my job. So as with most social media, I suppose, I tend to just share the exciting, fun, celebratory things. And I think people think that is my life. It is my life, but I also have, when I'm not working, obviously, I'm going, it's a difficult time. I lost my husband, as I say, quite suddenly 11 months ago. I can't believe it's 11 months ago. But obviously I'm not going to share about that all the time, because if you go to my Facebook page, you don't want to hear about I'm struggling or to write or whatever. It's about my books, because that is, to be honest, that's why I have social media platforms, is because I need to promote my books, because that's part of my job. So just because I share all these exciting things doesn't mean to say that is my 24/7 life. It is my life, but I also have the other part of my life too that I'm not going to share. I've just shared it a little bit here, obviously, but I don't share anywhere else. And I don't share much, I guess, because it's private stuff, isn't it? Anyway, I hope you're having a great week. I had better knuckle down and get on with this, because this book is not going to edit itself, more's the pity. But it has been an exciting week, a tiring week, but in all the very best ways. I hope you have a lovely weekend and a lovely week, and I look forward to chatting with you again next week. Any questions? Do please ask me. And if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe below so you get a little bell, a little alert every time I post something. I tend to post one short chatty video a week, and I also post a short. So thanks for joining me, and I look forward to chatting again.